is Cas E Crowe. I am the author of the Wayward Haunt series and Wolvercraft Manor. I am excited because I completed my first self-edit for my latest novel, The Dark Divide. I'm going to go into detail about what that edit entailed in my next video, but for this video I did promise my newsletter subscribers that I would be doing a little experiment to see if I could edit The Dark Divide while also writing book 4, while also doing a day job. How did it work out? Well, it was an experience. Yes, we'll go with that. I loved writing book 4 in the Wayward Haunt series, and now I can finally say what the title is because I announced it the other day on my socials. Book 4 is called The Bone Grimoire. So I was excited to start writing that book, and at the same time, I felt good that I was still editing The Dark Divide too. So to explain, the experiment lasted 2 weeks. I started writing The Bone Grimoire early in the morning before work and then edited The Dark Divide after work. Now, the reason why I did this was because I am constantly struggling to find time for my author business. I get so overwhelmed by everything that needs to be done. There's writing, editing, and publishing books. There's social media and often more than one platform that you have to engage with. There's a ton of time that goes into research alone, which is looking at the latest trends or keeping on top of what Amazon is doing, or even research for your books. And of course, you need to dedicate some time to reading because authors need to read, right? I know I do. An author business means that you are the CEO, the CFO, the operation, and the admin all rolled into one. It's hard work. And on top of that, you must dedicate time to writing, editing, and improving your craft. So working a day job and trying to fit in an author business is a huge struggle. I don't know how authors who are also working and who are parents do it. Honestly, they are amazing. So the experiment was about trying to see if I could train my mind to write and edit in the times that I did have available, which are the early mornings and the evenings. Let's take a look. How did I go for the 1st of May? It was a public holiday, so you would think that I'd be able to get a large word count completed, but I had a month's worth of social media content to finish that day too. So in the end, I set a goal to write 500 words. I achieved 502 words. Just made it. How did I go with the line edit for The Dark Divide? I got 1 chapter done. The long weekend was now over and it was back to work. Fortunately, I work from home on Tuesdays, which eliminates time it takes to get ready and travel to the office. I set a word count goal of 500 words. I wrote 524 words in the morning. In the evening, I edited 2 chapters. So the total word count for The Bone Grimoire so far was 1,026 words. The total number of chapters edited for The Dark Divide was 3. I have to go into the office on Wednesdays. I work early in the morning, like 5 a.m. crazy early. I achieved 476 words. In the evening, I edited 1 chapter of The Dark Divide. The total word count for book 4 was now 1,502 words. The total number of chapters edited for The Dark Divide was 4. At this stage, I was starting to get really worried because I had 39 more chapters to edit, with a deadline to finish by the 14th of May, which included a final proofread. I was panicking. Thursdays are my day off from work. Well, not really. It's a day I dedicate to my author business. So on this day in particular, I got up around 7 a.m. and after breakfast started writing. I got 1,407 words achieved before lunch. And then I edited all afternoon until sunset. I edited 6 chapters. That took me to a total of 2,909 words achieved for book 4 and 10 chapters edited in total for The Dark Divide. Okay, it was back in the office that Friday. 5 a.m. start on the writing. I wrote 241 words. Did not meet my goal of 500 words at all. I just had no energy that day. That evening, yes, I did write on a Friday evening. I got 1 chapter done. Because then I was like, oh, what's on Netflix? Word count total, 3,150 words. Chapters edited, 11. I always get excited when I wake up on a Saturday morning because it means I have the entire weekend to do whatever it is I want to do, meaning I spend hours on my author business. Now, you would think that I'd have plenty of time to work on 2 novels over the weekend, but no. I had groceries to do, I had washing to catch up on, I had household chores to get on top of. That all takes time. So I ended up writing for 3 hours on Saturday afternoon. I achieved 792 words. I then edited 3 chapters of The Dark Divide. Word count total, 3,942 words. Chapters edited, 14. Sunday, the day of rest, unless you're running an author business. I started writing in the morning. I wrote 836 words in just under 3 hours. I spent some time with my mum. She dropped over to my place and we had lunch. I then edited in the afternoon for 2 hours and got 2 chapters edited. Word count total, 4,778 words. Chapters edited, 16. I guess that's not too bad, right? For a week. The Dark Divide is 43 chapters in length. So I hadn't quite made the halfway mark yet with the editing. Writing the Bone Grimoire though, I was kind of hoping I could have achieved more in a week, but maybe that's just me being a perfectionist. I had every intention of writing in the morning, but guess what? I slept in. I don't know whether I forgot to set my alarm the night before or if I just slept through it, but basically it was a huge rush in the morning to get ready for work and make the train. So when I finished work, I edited The Dark Divide, I got a chapter done, and I had to push myself to write the Bone Grimoire and make up for the words that I missed in the morning. I got a paragraph and a half done, 158 words. Word count, 4,936, chapters edited, 17. Tuesday, I worked from home. I woke early and wrote 640 words in 2 hours. That evening, I edited 2 chapters. Word count, 5,576 words. Chapters edited, 19. How was I feeling? Honestly, exhausted. I was feeling really burnt out by this stage. I wasn't replying to some of the comments that I was receiving on my socials, which isn't a great look. I just didn't have the energy at the time. I made up for it though. I eventually did comment back. Apologies that it took so long. But yes, I was putting whatever energy I had left after working into writing and editing, and I could feel that it was starting to drain me. I had to go into the office to work on this day. I forced myself to wake early. It was really hard. I wrote 342 words. I edited 1 chapter of The Dark Divide. Word count, 5,918 words. Chapters edited, 20. By this stage, I was thinking, crap, I'm not going to meet my deadline. I now look back and think, so? No one is going to die because I'm not going to meet a deadline. But at the time, I was just feeling really disappointed in myself. Thursday, author business day. Okay, so by this point I had to make a decision because clearly my little experiment wasn't working out so well. It was okay in week 1, but week 2 was a struggle. So on Thursday I focused on editing The Dark Divide and I got 8 chapters done. However, I did make a promise that I was going to write every day. So after dinner that night, I sat down for an hour and wrote the Bone Grimoire. And I did 305 words. Word count, 6,223 words. Chapters edited, 28. Okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit better about the editing now. Back to working in the office. So I wrote in the morning, achieved 522 words, hit the 500 word count deadline. Yes. That evening, I edited a chapter despite it being a Friday night. I did push myself to edit. Word count, 6,745 words. Chapters edited, 29. Okay, Saturday started with washing, chores, groceries, and buying flowers for my mum because the next day was Mother's Day. So that was important to me. By the time I finished all that, it was 1 p.m. and half the day was gone. So I chose to edit. I got 7 chapters done. I had to push myself to write that evening, 216 words was all I could accomplish. Word count 6,961, chapters edited 36. The final day of the experiment. I set out to get the last chapters of The Dark Divide edited. I got the last 7 chapters done, and late that afternoon I wrote the Bone Grimoire. I did 384 words. I then went to my mum's house for dinner to celebrate Mother's Day, which was a nice way to end the weekend. Total word count achieved for my 2-week writing and editing experiment. 7,345 words written for the Bone Grimoire. All chapters were edited for The Dark Divide. But The Dark Divide still needed a final proofread. I just didn't have the time to do it during the experiment. So I spent the following week proofreading The Dark Divide and fixing more mistakes that I missed. What did I learn? I was hoping that I would train my brain to work in those times that I had set. But all I ended up doing was struggling to reach my goal and really burning myself out. I think if I had just focused on editing The Dark Divide in the mornings and on the weekends and not worrying about writing the Bone Grimoire, then I would have been in a healthier place and I would have accomplished more with the edit. So yeah, that was a huge lesson learned. I think a full-time author could probably pull off editing one book and writing another, but when you have a day job and you're trying to balance an author business too, it was too much. It took me a few days to recover from those 2 weeks. It was intense. I'm glad I did it though, because I learned from the experience. I learned that I'm never doing it again. If you're writing a novel or aspiring to start writing a novel, be kind to yourself. Set yourself realistic tasks, because I certainly didn't for those 2 weeks and I paid for it. But I also learned what I am and what I am not capable of. Obviously, this video has been recorded a few weeks after that 2-week experiment because honestly, I needed that much time away from it. The self-edit for The Dark Divide is now finished. Developmental edit, line edits, and proofreading are all done. So in my next video, I'm going to talk about each of those steps and what exactly they entail for me as I self-edit my novels. I'm going to be sharing lots more videos and vlogs about my books and writing, so if you're keen to see that content, click the subscribe button to be notified when a new video is released. Thanks guys, happy reading and writing, see you in the next video.